Peace, peace, love, and prosperity to all the family. I'm your humble brother, Tasmaniac. Thank you for joining us on another edition of Operation Wake the Fuck Up. Under the title this time of Organ Donation Exposed and brought to you by the Crumb Snatcher Network. Please be sure to like, comment, interact, and share it in all your social media platforms that you have access to. All right, we greatly appreciate your presence today. If you are watching afterwards, greatly appreciate you watching. Hope you enjoyed the show. With that said, feel free to check out and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Operation Wake the Fuck Up, and the Branch of Knowledge as well. Check out all of its as well as check out all of its contents. Feel free to. You can also follow me on Facebook under Tasmaniac Wolf, as well as my educational group, official Flat Earth Chicago, as well under the Crumb Snatcher group. Be sure to sign up to all the platforms, as well as under the Crumb Snatcher Network. You can follow Brother Crumb on Instagram under Crumb_Snatcher_. You can also subscribe to his YouTube channel under Crumb Snatcher, as well as follow him on Facebook under Crumb Snatcher as well. Alright, feel free to join us in all our platforms, and we have a plethora of material that you might be interested in looking over. Alright, with that said, let us get started. Today we're gonna search into organ harvesting. Alright, and we're gonna start with Organ Harvesting 101. Alright, let's dive right in, and it might not be what you were expecting, but let's look at what it is that we could find. Now, the first thing that I would suggest the family do is to get off the national donor list or any donor list you're in currently. It's just a suggestion. All right. After this presentation, you make the decision if it makes any sense as to why. All right. There's only two ways pretty much to harvest vital organs. All right. That'll be your heart, your kidney, your lungs, etc. All right. Now, 90% of the time, organ donors are alive and breathing, or doctors label them as brain dead. All right. That's one of them. There's pretty much no going around that. The people that are labeled as brain dead, they're alive while their organs are being harvested. All right. With that said, there's no going around that pretty much, or contesting it. They are only given a paralyzer per se, but no anesthesia whatsoever. The other 10% from those who have underwent cardiac death, we'll look into both of those terms real soon. All right. Now, right here, it tells you organ donors are alive when their organs are harvested. All right. Now, traditional organ donation requires a person to be in a hospital and a ventilator when they are pronounced brain dead. All right. If a person experiences cardiac death, which means that the heart has stopped and will not work again, they will be evaluated for tissue and cornea donations. All right. We need to categorize those two things. All right. If you are considered brain dead, you are alive. All right, and that is the norm now. But if you have what is called cardiac death, which means your heart stops, the only thing that could be used from you is tissue. All right, or cornea donations. All right. Now 90% of your vital organs are harvested from a living body, diagnosed as brain dead. All right. And like we said, the other 5 to 10%, usually of the organ doses, usually just the kidneys and liver are taken from bodies after cardiac death. These individuals actually die in the operating table after their ventilators have been removed. All right. Now, I have a little video right here just just to look deeper into what's going on.
Hey, here's a really disturbing story. A dead woman woke up right before they were going to, obviously she wasn't dead, harvest her organs, and doctors gave her a sedative and just planned to continue removing her organs. It's just unbelievable. This happened a couple of years ago, but we're just now finding out about it because some of the documents have finally been released. Colleen Burns was taken to an emergency room at St. Joseph's Hospital Center, and she was suffering from a drug overdose. Okay? A nurse told doctors she is recovering, she is alive, but doctors said, no, 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 we're pronouncing her dead, called her family. Her family said, okay, you can go ahead and harvest her organs. We want the organs to go for something good. Obviously, she wasn't dead. There were several signs that pointed towards her being alive. A mandatory reflex test was performed on the undersides of her feet, and she did clench her toes. She appeared to be breathing without a respirator. Didn't stop doctors. Nurses told doctors that this was going on. Doctors said, give her this really powerful sedative. Now, I'm not a doctor, Lewis. I know most people watch this show. It probably seems to them like I'm a doctor. I don't blame people for thinking that, but I'm actually not a doctor. But if someone requires a sedative before you remove all of their internal organs, is that not an indication that the person's alive still?
Presumably a corpse does not need a sedative, yes.
Right. What's most amazing about this is that the hospital was sanctioned and a number of mistakes were involved in the sanctions. The total fine for the hospital was only $22,000.
$22,000 for the cause of death of a person, because they actually did went to go through with the procedure. All right. Now that's just one out of many cases, family. I'm not gonna let the whole video play, but that's just one out of many cases. All right. But let's dig deeper. All right. Now, before 1968, a person was declared dead only after the heart and breathing has stopped. All right. What we currently know as brain dead was never heard of back then. All right. It was only after doctors realized that they can take an organ from an almost dead person and implant it into another to keep one of the two alive, that pretty much a Pandora's box was open. All right, and we know the saying: once you open Pandora's box, there is no closing it. All right. Now let's look at what Merriam-Webster has to say about cardiac arrest, and we're gonna look into real quick detail. It says, typically when a person suffers a cardiac death, the heart stops beating. The vital organs quickly become unusable, all right, for transplantation. But their tissue, such as bone, skin, heart valves, and corneas, can be donated within the first 24 hours of the death, all right? So once your heart starts beating and you suffer cardiac arrest, your vital organs like your heart, your kidney, your lungs, everything, your intestine, everything that is a vital organ in your body immediately begins to deteriorate, because your body is aware that what's pumping blood and oxygen to all these organs is no longer working. So once no oxygen is available, the organs are going to start, they're just going to start decaying. All right. This is the Merriam-Webster definition for cardiac arrest. Now it says temporary or permanent cessation of the heart. First known use of cardiac arrest was in 1950. All right. It says medical definition of cardiac arrest: abrupt, temporary, or permanent cessation of the heart, as from ventricular fibrillation or asystole. All right. Here at the bottom, we have a picture of the difference between cardiac arrest and brain dead. All right. I need to make sure that the family sees the difference in between the two. The one all the way to the left is a normal conscious brain. The one in the middle is a cardiac arrest brain, and the one all the way in the right is a brain dead brain. All right, it appears like, when somebody's labeled brain dead, that it is it is as they're saying. It appears that way, correct? All right, but let us dig deeper and see what it is that truly is going on. All right, now through trial and error, they figured out that organs couldn't come from a dead body, because once cardiac arrest occurred, the vital organs quickly became unusable. All right, like I previously said. Now, damage to organs is immediate once the circulation stops. All right, because your circulation brings oxygen to your body. Now, once this problem showed its face, they came up with the term brain dead. All right. Now, with brain dead, you're technically speaking dead. What they don't tell you is your body is dead of movement. All right. You're a vegetable per se, but very much alive, and can still feel everything. It's just not registering in your brain activity. For your pain sensors throughout your entire body feel everything, and signals of the pain to brain. But the brain is pretty much not accepting accepting the incoming calls. That's pretty much what it's doing. Now, that doesn't mean that the pain just magically disappeared. All right, just because your brain is not able to receive what your whole entire body is feeling, and is not able to compute what this is because of brain damage or whatever it is, that doesn't mean that the pain is not happening. Okay, now let's look at what a brain dead says. It says final cessation of activity in the central nervous system, especially as indicated by the flat electrocentrophallogram for a predetermined length of time. All right. At the bottom it says pretty much the same. Final cessation of activity in the central nervous system, especially as indicated by the flat. Yeah, that's pretty much the same. Now, when we look at the etymology, it says brain dead, suffering complete loss of brain function, 1971. Brain dead is from 1968. All right, so it's a pretty new term. Just like well, it's not well. Let's just continue. I was gonna make an example, but it doesn't correlate with what's going on. But as it states, brain dead is from 1968, popularized in the U.S. in 1975 by the journalist coverage of Karen and Quinlan case. All right, now let's look at the etymology of the word dead. All right, now in Old English it says a dead person, the dead collectively who have died. All right, and I'm gonna read the parts that are relevant to what I'm trying to point out. I have them underlined. It says still, cold, standing still, inactive, quiet as in dead drunk, from the 1590s. All right. Now to read the whole, it says as the most intense or culminating point of anything, usually something low, flat, is still cold, is still or cold as the night, or on a winter night, from the 1540s. All right, that's from when the term dead is coming from. All right, that's the etymology pretty much from it. All right, now let's continue. Now, this whole brain dead has several attributes that can mimic a totally different scenarios in which people have fully recovered, or is just a misdiagnosis. All right. Now, some of them, it says brain dead mimics misdiagnosis of brain death has been reported in the following clinical scenarios: locked-in syndrome, neuromuscular paralysis, as found in severe acute polyneuropathy. Some may also have automatic dysfunction, including pupillary areflexia. All right. Now, hypothermia, All right, we know that hypothermia is when you're freezing, drug intoxication. So if you're like pissy drunk, you know, and you passed out and you blocked out, 9 times out of 10 you're gonna mimic that you're brain dead. All right, and Guillain-Barré syndrome. All right. Now, like I said, it says right here, various conditions can mimic death, and many individuals have fully recovered after the misdiagnosis of brain dead. Now, the photo illustration shows an angiogram of a brain. Now, at the left right here, with blood flow, and at the right without blood flow, as it has been seen in a brain dead patient. All right. So the one on the right is a brain dead patient. The one on the left is a patient, you know, with blood flow in his brain. All right. And I have just a small little video that will give us an understanding thoroughly of what brain dead is. Let us.
I can't believe it.
And of course, it's going to show us an ad, because why wouldn't it show us an ad? But let's give it time. It says the video will play after the ad. We got 5 more seconds. I muted it just so we wouldn't have to listen to the stupid stuff.
You hear the term vegetative state and coma and brain death all the time in medical shows. But what do these terms actually mean? Hey there, Brainiacs. Trace here for D-News. For non-medical people, the terms vegetative state, coma, and brain dead are used interchangeably, but they are not synonymous, and there are very important distinctions. People in a vegetative state still have a functioning brain stem, meaning their body is essentially on autopilot. They can breathe on their own, have a sleep-wake cycle, and react to some stimuli, but they can't hold a conversation or take in their environment. Neurologists define consciousness by wakefulness and awareness, and people in a vegetative state are awake but unaware. People in a coma, on the other hand, are not awake or aware. Comas can happen either if their cerebral hemispheres aren't working, or if the reticular activating system, the part of the brain stem responsible for wakefulness, is damaged. Then people enter a state of deep unconsciousness, like the most hardcore nap ever taken. Still under the surface, though, their brain is at a minimum sending out some signals. It's possible to recover from a coma into a vegetative state and then regain awareness. Unfortunately, it is also possible to progress from a coma to a state where all neural activity ceases and the brain no longer has any input on the body's function. This is called brain death.
All right, so that's pretty much a good example of what brain death pretty much is, all right? And with that, we could see what brain death mimics when it comes to certain aspects of either a disease or after you've acquired enough alcohol or a certain drug, you know, or something pertaining to that, to the fact that it could mimic that you've gone brain dead while somebody done took you to the emergency room. All right. Now, when we look, many individuals, as previously stated, have woke up after being diagnosed as brain dead, only to realize that in reality these people were actually under a coma. Now, we remember what happened to the lady at the start of the presentation. Did I? Yeah, right. The first video that we saw was about a lady that they were about to harvest her videos and her organs, and she woke up right before it, and you know, and they sedated her again, thinking that she was just having a reaction. All right, when in reality she was really only in a coma. Now, a coma is a state of prolonged unconsciousness, all right, from the 1640. That's the online etymology from it, all right? It's from the Latinized form of Greek from coma, all right, or genitive comatos, a deep sleep, which is of uncertain origin. A term of coma in the Middle East was false sleep, all right? Now, it says the concept of brain death was invented in Boston in 1968 for the only purpose of organ donation. The first part, past, clarifies that the concept of the brain death has been elaborated in Europe between 1952 and 1960 without any correlation to the development of the organ transplantation. The second part, the present, deals with the acceptance of the brain death in common, especially from an actual German point of view. In this regard, there are at least 2 dialectical postulates, whereas most countries, including Germany, choose a legal regulation. The British are in favor of a genuine responsibility of the individual physicians. Such an opinion goes back to the Pope's speech in 1957. The third part, the future, reflects how to mitigate ongoing problems, accepting the entity of brain dead by soft skills, sample languages, empathy, and persistence on a personal base of 447 determinations of brain dead during the last 25 years. So there's been 447 different determinations of what brain dead is, all right, since they changed from a coma, all right? Now, history shows us that people everywhere were so petrified of the concept of a misdiagnosis and being buried alive. Remember, back then there was no organ harvesting, so there was no point in keeping in them trying to keep you alive. So that with that they came up with a different ideas for their caskets in case they were misdiagnosed. All right. There's even a name for it. All right. It's called taphiphobia. All right. Which was the term was coined to such fear that the word taphophobia comes from the Greek taphos, all right, meaning grave, and phobia from the Greek phobos, meaning fear. So it literally means fear of the grave or fear of being put in the grave while still alive. Now, this Marguerite McCall is a person that is well documented who underwent such a diagnosis, all right? And in his tombstone, it states, lived once, but he was buried twice. All right? Why? Because the first time he was pronounced dead, he woke up. He woke up before they buried him. And he lived a little bit, and then they buried him again. He died again. This time they buried him for real. He died, so he lived once, but was buried twice. All right? And this is a couple of the pictures of how the coffins used to be before. All right, you have the person sitting inside, and just in case if they had a misdiagnosis, there's a string attached to their hand. That way, when they wake up, they could pull on the string. Ding, 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 ding. Get me the fuck out of here! I'm still alive. All right, for whatever reason. All right, and they made different caskets for this specific fear, all right, or this phobia that people were growing because of misdiagnosis, all right. So this has been going on for a very, very long time, all right. Now, this has not only occurred here and there in current or what we call modern times, all right. If you search, there's a vast amount of cases where this has occurred. Let us look at but just a few, all right? We're going to look at just a few. Here we have, it says hospital error leads to dead patient opening eyes during organ harvesting, all right? A Syracuse, New York hospital is facing $22,000 in fines. $22,000, that's it, huh? Due to improper handling of patients, including one dead patient who opened her eyes as doctors were about to remove her organs. The Syracuse Post-Standard reported that the New York State Health Department found St. Joseph Hospital Health Center negligent in the case and admonished the hospital for not adequately looking into how this mistake was made. All right. The patient was Colleen S. Burns, was reportedly admitted into St. Joseph Emergency Department in 2009 after overdosing on Xanax, all right, Benadryl, and muscle relaxant. Hospital's notes obtained by the Post-Standard revealed that the doctors thought that she had undergone cardiac death. After doctors consulted with the family, they agreed to withdraw life support and donate her organs. All right. Here we have just one of many mistakes. All right. Let's look at another one. Now, this is a very current one. All right. Meaning as in it just happened, like recently. All right. is very unfortunate. It has a very unfortunate end. All right. And it just so happens that it happens in a Catholic hospital. You know, just want to add that in there. Now, David Rees he's but a small glimpse of what has occurred for a very, very long time, only to monetize everything that possibly could be monetized from the body, you know, for plain profit. All right, that's all that it is. Now, at first, this article states, let me drink some water, family. This article states, food, water restored to comatose man in U.S. Catholic hospital after mom fights for his life. It says, Tucson, Arizona, January 28, 2019. All right. Nutrition and hydration have been restored to the 32-year-old man in a coma in an Arizona Catholic hospital after his mom was posted heartbreaking video on a social media last week saying the doctors were slowly starving her son to death. David Rees, a father of 3, suffered a stroke and subsequently brain injury that left him in a coma in December 31st. Doctors declared David brain dead about 2 weeks ago, despite him twitching, raising his toes, and moving his fingers when his mother and other family members talked to him. His mother, Patricia Adams, 51, made an emotional appeal on Facebook last week to anyone who could help save her son. All right? Let's look at a little bit of the video. The video is a little touching or whatever, so, but let's look at a mother's plea. Yeah, hold on.
My name is Patricia Adams, and this is my son, David. As you can see, his body is emaciating. His body is literally deteriorating. It's disappearing before us because he's denied nutrition. He's starving in a hospital in Tucson, Arizona. And I am coming to you from Tucson, Arizona, inside a hospital, asking, please help me get my son the treatment that he needs, nutrition and hydration. He is being starved at this very moment. Are you aware, community, my countrymen, that if your comatose family member falls into a category by loophole of brain death, that whole declaration that does not include spiritual or cultural beliefs. Now, we're Native American and we believe that the heart is beating. There is life. We are also believers in God. And we believe that the soul is the mind and the heart. And who could know the mind but God? We appeal to philanthropists, humanitarians, community members, anyone who can help get us our David, my son, to New Jersey for the treatment that he needs. He needs nutrition. And I told you about the diagnosis. Now that prevents anyone from getting him the treatment. He is starving. He's starving in our country. How can that be okay with you? How is that humanity? No one in this country should ever be denied food and water. And no one in this country should ever be denied the right to believe in.
We're not gonna go too far with it. I don't want to. I don't want to get the family upset or angry about it. It's a very sentimental video. It's about 8 minutes long. We're not gonna go through those 8 minutes. But the mother pleads a very good case, you know, and she goes into detail. You could find her on Facebook. Now, David did pass away. They weren't able to be. They fought a good fight, but they weren't able to win. All right. And this is not only happening just to David. It's happening to everybody all around. You know, when they decide that your life is no longer worth fighting for, they just stop because they know that you're worth more dead, technically speaking, dead by your organs than any other way. All right. Now, let us dive into the procedures that us as organ donors undergo. Now I want to thank everybody for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and share the live feed, as well as sign up to all our platforms on the Crumb Snatcher Network. Alright, now let's move on. First thing is, what happens to organ donors after death? And the first thing we got to understand is that they're not dead. All right. See, through history, we have manipulated the term death, for the convenience of profiting from the human body. Death is not is not a one-step process. All right. Death is a multitude of steps. All right. Now, your body has a specific pattern it must follow to provide the most natural yet soothing transition from one vessel to the other. All right. Now, life and death they're a part of a cycle. All right, in which one's actions in his life lead to further reincarnations. All right, depending on what it is that you do during your lifetime. All right. Now, you transition slowly. All right. It is not a just boom. Your brain isn't working anymore and it's all over. No. If it was that way, then the organ donation will be impossible, because we already know that once you're dead, your vital organs immediately start to decompose. All right. So let's look further into what happens. It says organ donation is only possible when the donor has died in hospital. Organs need a supply of oxygen-rich blood to remain suitable for transplantation. All right. Donors are put on an artificial respirator to keep their heart beating so that the oxygen-rich blood continues to circulate through their body. All right. It's telling you right there that you have to be kept alive. They give you a supply of oxygen-rich blood to remain suitable for transplantation. All right. Now, it says donors are put on artificial respirators. All right, because since you're brain dead, you no longer have the brain sending signals at the time to keep pumping. Everything's just going on automatic, and after a while it will just stop unless you recover from it and heal. All right, but we know that the body does heal itself. All right. Now, using anesthesia according to general procedures is not something that is required, nor is it advised to use, other than the paralytic or an injection that paralyzes or stops you from moving. Now, if you're dead, why are you moving? Maybe because your body has not transitioned through death just yet. All right, and what we're doing is torturing these people. All right. Now, right here it says anesthesia support. Optimum maintenance of donor is required during recovery of organs to ensure their viability for transplantation. All right. So there's a whole lot of maintenance that has to be put forward towards the donor. All right. So there's a good chance of the organs being transplanted. All right. It is extremely helpful if the donor has at least one central or two large bore peripheral IV lines for fluid replacements. All right. Organ recovery from the brain dead donor does not require the administration of anesthetic. However, it may be necessary to give paralytic agents to suppress spinal reflexes. All right. What reflexes? If you are dead, you don't transition from just alive to just death. All right. If somebody naturally dies, they slowly go. And if you look at certain cultures, even they tell you that it takes, even after they have their body has passed on, it takes up to 40, I believe it's like 43 or 49 days that it takes for the spirit to transition from one body to another. All right. But according to this people, you're dead immediately the minute you go brain dead, and you don't need you need some paralyzers, but you don't need no anesthetic though. Even though we already know by them telling us that in order for your organs to be able to be transplanted, they have to be in working order, and the only way that happens is if the person is alive. Because the minute you stop being alive and your heart stops, all your vital organs begin to decompose. All right. So let's continue. Now, during harvesting procedures, your blood pressure literally spikes tremendously in their machines that are monitoring you. All right. One regular procedure, a doctor would administer more in any other regular procedure. You know, a doctor would immediately halt the operation and all the incisions that they're making to administer more anesthesia or some anesthesia. Yet here we have a more specific list of what is done and how organ harvesting does not require anesthetic but paralyzing agents. It does, and it says right here, paralyzing agents are for spinal reflexes. Other anesthetic is not needed. All right. And the bottom we have the organ harvesting procedure for brain dead individuals take between 4 and 6 hours, during which time the individual is kept alive on life support or until the last organ, the heart, is removed. All right. Brain dead individuals do not receive any anesthesia per protocol. However, they are given paralytic drugs to prevent movement during the surgery. All right. And here I added a video that I was actually going to remove. I'll just show the beginning of it. But it's just about some trafficking. I thought it was about some doctors. It is some doctors, because you can't just remove organs and donate them like that. But it's actually about some people and a ring that they had about a ring.
Accused of illegally selling body parts from a Detroit location called it going on a business sale.
People who had business dealings with this man telling Action News the same freezers he used to store arms, legs, and even heads were sold. Jeff Vaughn joins us tonight with the exclusive details on this one. Sounds crazy, Jeff.
Yeah, those electric freezers selling for just $50. Those smaller igloo coolers, sources tell me, selling for $10 a piece. And there were dozens of them sold. A Grosse Pointe Park man at the center of an FBI investigation for selling bodies in the black market had a yard sale.
That's why I put it in there, because they're after this man for selling organs in the black market. But they could do it though. They could do it. They do it all the time. Even we're leaving everybody in limbo about, are we really dead? Are we not? Do we feel something? Do we not? Because you can look for it, and doctors really will tell you that they really don't know. They don't know if you do feel pain or not. They just know that you know there is no more action within the brain. All right. Now, once you become a donor, you were kept alive for no less than at least 24 hours. Sometimes days to a week if you're extremely healthy and the right buyer comes along willing to pay or having the insurance to cover such procedures. All right. Here we have another where it says paralytic agents for spinal reflexes. Other anesthetic is not needed. All right. Now, when here we have the words of one anesthesiologist. All right. Regarding organ harvesting and his personal experience. All right. It says, this weekend at his home in Norwich, he said, nurses get really upset. You stick the knife in and the pulse and blood pressure shoot up. All right. That is not no oh, your spinal cord is having a reaction or nothing. No, this is your blood pressure and your pulse. You know, it's like you start going through some shit. All right. They shoot up. If you don't give anything at all, the patient will start to move and wiggling around, and it's impossible to do the operation. The surgeon has always asked us to paralyze the patient. All right. And at the bottom it states, I am worried about the process by which these donor organs are being obtained at the moment, because it is not necessary to give an anesthetic to a patient who is having his donor organs removed. All right. Now, why is he worried? Why is he worried? If we're supposedly dead, why is he so worried? I mean, I don't get it. All right, but according to them, the minute they stick the knife in, the pulse and the blood pressure just skyrocket. All right, why? What's behind it? Let's continue. Now, the electroencephalograph is a very good way to ensure that a person is truly not feeling any pain, but for whatever reason they are discouraged of being used of this apparatus being used unless extremely necessary. Why? No idea. But an electroencephalograph is as an apparatus for detecting and recording brain waves. It's used a lot in children, but it could also detect the activity in your brain. We'll show real quick.
Hi, I'm Scott, an EEG technologist at the Children's Hospital of Pittsburgh of UPMC. Today, I'm here to talk about electroencephalograms, commonly referred to as EEGs. EEGs can be performed in an ICU, hospital inpatient unit, or in an outpatient setting. An EEG is a safe, painless procedure where wires are placed on the outside of the head in order to record electrical impulses from a patient's brain.
Alright, so that's pretty much what it does. It collects impulses from a person's brain. Alright? Now, that's what it does. And this is discouraged from being used at all. Alright? So let's look further. Now, to understand pain, we have to realize that our entire body is made up of pain receptors. These receptors transmit signals of pain through our nervous system to the brain. Just because a catastrophe has taken, maybe temporarily, the ability for the brain to receive information does not mean the information is still not being accounted for and happening. The perfect example is a person fully paralyzed from, let's say, the waist down in a wheelchair in some freak accident gets his legs ran over. Just because he did not feel the pain does not mean there was no pain received or damage done. All right? It's very obvious that it doesn't take that much. I mean, not that it doesn't take that much, but just because this person doesn't have the capability of transmitting the pain to the brain that their legs is experiencing doesn't mean that pain is not happening. All right. Now it says pain receptors in the skin are activated by tissue damage. A signal travels up the peripheral nerve to the spinal cord. Within the spinal cord, chemical messages are released. This activates other nerves that pass signals to the brain. All right. Now here's a real quick explanation of what pain receptors are. Let's look at it real quick.
Now we're heading to our lab, where we're going to put our bodies to the test to show you how your body works. That really hurt. Just don't try anything you see here at home. Ow! Did that hurt?
Yes, get off.
Okay, what about this?
No, but get off, I don't like it.
We all experience pain. You've got over 3 million pain receptors throughout your body, but some areas like this have more receptors than other areas like this. Now, I know I shouldn't be pinching you, Tom, but it was all to explain pain receptors. Pain receptors are specialized nerve endings. They act as messengers, so when they detect something painful, they tell your brain you're hurt.
Pain can be really useful sometimes because it stops you accidentally damaging your body.
But why is it we feel pain differently in different situations? Sometimes you can stub your toe and be in terrible agony. Other times you cut yourself really badly playing football and you don't notice till the end of the match. And that's because pain is in your brain.
And this means that you can reduce the amount of pain you experience. And we're going to show you how.
But before I show you this clever trick, I'm going to inflict a little bit of pain on Zand so that we can see how a person reacts normally.
Alright, so they're pretty much letting you know how it is that pain goes through and how, alright? Now, let's continue, alright? Now let's look into what organs we are donating and why, alright? Let's dive right into this, family, alright? Now, what organs can be donated after death? Organs that can be donated after death are the heart, liver, kidneys, lungs, pancreas, and in small intestines. Tissues include corneas, skin, veins, heart valves, tendons, ligaments, and bones. All right. Now, these are the main organs. All right. These that could be donated: the heart, the liver, the kidney, your lungs, your pancreas, and the small intestines. All right. This is if you haven't experienced cardiac arrest. All right. Because there's specific organs that during both brain death and cardiac arrest can be harvested. Let's not forget that once the heart has stopped working, the vital organs immediately begin to decompose and not function. This is what we said before is considered cardiac arrest, and only gives us access to tissues and not the organs. Now, brain dead gives you the access to all tissues and the organs, maximizing the part within the body. All right. Now, these are all the organs that we're able to donate. Let's continue. Now, certain criteria must be met in order to for a high rate success transplant to occur. Just because all criteria is met and transplant operation or procedure is a success does not mean that your body will accept a new and foreign organ. One major factor is blood type compatibility. All right, take a kidney for example. Not just anyone can give you a kidney. One of the first steps is to see if they can even see if they even can have the same blood type. For more details about blood and its types, go watch Brother Crumb's live feed. It's called Rhesus Monkey Blood Examine. In the meantime, let us look into this chart right here. All right. Now, pretty much when it comes to bloodline, like a B. A B bloodline could give to an AB, only those. An AB could give to only to an AB, all right? But a B could also give to a B, all right? Also an A could give to an A, as and this A could also give to an, well, the O could give to the A, because the O is the one that is universal. All right. And this pretty much shows you, depending on what your blood type is, which one is the one that you could donate to the other. All right. Now, once labeled brain dead family and the criteria of a person is met, doctors go notoriously after the family to try to convince them to donate their organs. If family is not available, they make a decision. They make the decision for you. If your family is not there, they make the decision for you, pretty much. Now, if family is available, there is an approach set up in place called Team Huddle and Family Approach. All right. Now it says no member of the donation team should mention donation to a family before participating in a team huddle. The Joint Commission regulations and state law state that only a live gift donation coordinator may discuss donations with the family. All right? So they're the only ones that could even talk about this stuff. Other than that, they got to have a team huddle that assembles many direct caregivers as possible, people that could work with the family as an approach, and they create like a forum for exchanging information about donor and the donor family. All right. So the reason they pretty much have this this huddle team in place is due to the shortage the shortage of organs worldwide. All right, since it is extremely hard to control the way and place in which someone dies. Not to mention that organ donation is an extremely profitable business worldwide. So let us look into how much our bodies are worth to these doctors, and you determine what your extent you will get to this time. All right. Now it says, every day 79 people receive a transplant, but at least 20 people die waiting because of the shortage of donated organs. In addition, procurement and surgery are not always successful, putting extra pressure on organ supply. Meanwhile, multiple organs can be recovered from a single donor. All right. Now, there's a price for every organ that we have. For example, your corneas could go for $30,000. Your lungs could go for as much as $150,000. Your heart, $130,000. Your liver, $98,000. Your kidneys, $62,000. A pair of eyeballs go for $1,500. Your scalp for $600. Your skull and your teeth for $1,200. Shoulders for $500. Coronary arteries for $1,500. Your liver could go for as much as $157,000. All right, and so on and so forth, depending on what it is that you're looking to get from somebody. Now, let us look at the process of a successful transplant and how long is the process while you are already dead, supposedly. All right. Now, how long do they keep donors alive? Now, at the very least, you are kept alive 24 hours. Your heart is the very last organ to be sold until a proper receiver is found, and the guarantee of payment is pretty much secured. If none is found, they go to the national list and go with the next receiver within the list up for receiving the organ. All right. Now here it says, about 14 days after donation, the donor's family will receive a letter from CORE describing how the donor helped transplant receivers. One organ, tissue, and cornea donor can save and enhance the lives of up to 75 recipients. All right. Okay, so you could save a lot of people, yes, but did you have to make this person suffer? Will we ever know? We're not sure if we'll ever know, but you know that's the whole point of trying to find out. All right. Now here we have a very popular facility that provides such services. Let's look into their process and analyze just a few things. All right. Now it says CORE coordinate the recovery of organ, tissues, and corneas for transplant. Traditional organ donations requires a person to be in a hospital and on a ventilator when they are pronounced brain dead. All right. If a person experiences cardiac death, which means the heart has stopped and will not work again, they will be evaluated for tissue and cornea donations. That is it. Of the 2.2 million people who die each year, only approximately 2% are able to be organ donors. All right. Now, it says the manner in which a person dies determine what organs and tissues can be donated. All right. Now, on the right hand, it says only an individual who has sustained either irreversible cessation of circulatory and respiratory functions, irreversible cessation of all functions of the entire brain, including brain stem, is dead. A determination of death must be made in accordance with accepted medical records. This is the original method of managing organ donations. Organ donations after cardiac death accounts for approximately 14% of life-saving donations. All right? Now that we have looked into the organ harvesting realm and got some basic knowledge of what's all about, let us look at another aspect fastly growing worldwide. There is a new possible idea being thrown around by a few government agencies, especially in France and Canada, our neighbors north of us. All right? Now it states that it says, unless French citizens explicitly states it, that they do not wish to donate their organs up to their death, it will be assumed that they do. Under this so-called presumed consent law, organ donation becomes the default. So if you didn't tell nobody that you didn't want your organs donated, oh, you're going to donate them anyways. It doesn't make no difference. All right? And this is being passed, being put out there for determination by several different entities. All right? Now, moving on. If you're feeling as if this might not be something that you want to do or subject to, there is one way you can attempt to prevent your organs from being harvested. Now, family, remember, I'm not a lawyer, a doctor, nor am I giving you legal nor health advice. I am but offering you my perception and giving you insight on what I decided to do in case you're not aware of these options. There's business like cars you can download. I'm not promoting these specific ones right here. They were picked randomly from a simple Google search. Fill them out, keep 1 or 2 in your wallet and the vehicle, give 1 to your parents or a significant other, provide 1 to your children if they are older, and they'll take care of them, all right? That way, there will be no contesting that you were against having your organs used. One thing is people do not like is, people don't like is bad publicity. Once you give them bad publicity, they're gonna try to get away, all right? Now, these are a couple movies, if anyone is interested in, that are very coincidental. I use that term very loosely. There are movies and TV series they'll have your third eye popping all day, you know, with all types of signs and symbols within them, as well as the entire plot of both, all right? They're all about organ harvesting, and they're both called Coma, all right? Just that one is actually a movie and the other one is a TV series, all right? Now, let's continue. This is where it gets just, where everything just goes completely a little haywire. We know the Beast be on some crazy shit all the time, but they never cease to amaze me at how much they're keeping from us. Now, let us dive into this rabbit hole of xenotransplantation, all right? Because this is a weird one. Now, the last horror story from the world of dangerous medicine and genetic engineering involved the mass breeding of pigs in biofactories to be murdered and organ harvested for human transplants. All right. Now, the New York Times not only surprisingly celebrates this mass murder of conscious beings, these pigs, in order to generate massive profits for the organ harvesting and transplants industry. I mean, so what the fuck is next? Human babies are going to be grown in labs and sacrificed for organ harvesting? Hold on tight to your seat, family, because presentation almost over, but the most shocking I left for last, all right? Now, it says right here, xenotransplantation is the process of grafting or transplanting organs or tissues between members of different species. In this case, an animal to a human, all right? The animal organ, probably from a pig or a baboon, could be genetically altered with human genes to trick a patient's immune system into accepting it as part of its own body. They have reemerged because of the lack of organs available and the constant battle to keep immune system from rejecting them. All right? This is really, literally something that they're doing. All right? They're gonna start using pigs to grow our organs. All right? Let us keep going. Now, researchers have created gene-edited piglets. You know, that they're supposedly cleansed the viruses that might cause diseases to humans. So now, not only are we slaughtering 100 million pigs per year to eat them, but we're also using them for organ replacement. The most disgusting animal in history and hybrid at all will now be the source of replacing our bad organs. What? But alright, now, it says, in a striking advance that helps open the door to organ transplants from animals, researchers have created gene-edited piglets cleansed of viruses that might cause diseases in humans. The experiments reported on Thursdays in Journal of Science may take it possible one day for transplant livers, hearts, and other organs from pigs into humans. I hope the experts had all but given up. All right. Now, Dr. George Church, a geneticist at Harvard, who led the experiment, said the first pig human transplants could occur within 2 years. All right. The new research combines two great achievements in recent years. All right. This guy right here. He's gonna make that shit happen. All right. Now, let's continue. Now, in a farm in Virginia, a company called Revivicor is breeding pigs that have some genetic similarities to humans. The scientists call them gall-safe pigs, and they have added 5 human genes to the pig livers, kidneys, and the hearts. The hope is that the organs can be harvested and used for transplants, and that the human bodies won't reject them. It sounds like science fiction, but unfortunately, it's a fact. It says right here, George Church, professor of genetics at Harvard Medical School, revealed that genetically modified pig organs could be used in transplants to humans. All right? So now we're moving organs from an animal to a pig. All right? Let's look at what this has to say real quick.
Hi, this is Kate from Minute Earth. In the United States alone, 22 people die every day waiting for a kidney, liver, heart, or lung transplant. There simply aren't enough donated human organs to go around, and we can't just go around stealing them out of random healthy people. But pigs' organs have roughly the same structure and proportions as human organs, and we already kill 500 million of the creatures every year for food. So why can't we just use their organs? Here's the thing. Our immune systems are really, really good at seeking out and destroying anything foreign to our bodies. So even human-to-human organ transplants sometimes get rejected. And pig organs are much foreigner. They have a super conspicuous sugar molecule on the surface of their cells that's basically a fight me sign for humans' organ-rejecting antibodies. But we've actually been able to engineer pigs whose organs don't carry those sugars. So, assuming we could take care of pig organs' other fight-me signs in similar ways, we might one day be able to transplant pig organs into humans. But there's a far more radical idea for pork-based organ farming. Grow customized human organs in pigs. Actually, it's not just an idea. It's an ongoing experiment in real life. First, we engineer a pig embryo that doesn't grow its own kidneys. Then we inject it with stem cells from the person needing a transplant. Then, as the modified pig embryo develops, those human cells grow inside the oincubator into healthy kidneys made from the patient's own cells. At least, that's the plan. So far, we've only seen this experiment all the way through when the modified pig embryos were injected with stem cells from other pigs. We don't know whether it'll actually work with human kidneys because we've halted all experiments with the pig-human embryos after just 4 weeks of development. Because some of those human stem cells could develop into other human organs elsewhere in the pig's body, which raises a lot of ethical questions, like what to do with them. Even if the cells don't migrate and these hybrid pigs end up producing lots of life-saving organs, what rights do we give to a part human pig, even if the part is just a kidney? What if it's 2 kidneys? 2 kidneys, a liver, and a set of lungs? In principle, we could use the same technology to grow human hearts, human spinal cords, and even human brains, all inside of a pig. And when we do, how will we know if that pig is still a pig?
Interesting, huh? So now, eventually, we're going to transfer pigs' organs to ourselves. Wow. Wow. Now, now this lady right here, Maritime Roblight, the founder of Revivicor, current parent company under the Therapeutics, has a dream for Revivicor to become an assembly line for new organs so that there's never a shortages. So she's going to make this happen as well. She's another one that's trying to make can make this go through, all right? It says the latest horror story from the world of dangerous medicine and genetic engineering invokes the mass breeding of pigs in biofactories to murder an organ harvested for human transplants. The question of where all the organs transplant candidates actually deserve replacement organs if they are living lifestyles that destroy their own organs, like smoking, substance abuse, alcohol, addiction, etc. Most, but not all, transplant recipients, it turns out, are people who destroy their own organs through substance abuse in the first place. Our biofactories full of pigs now is going to provide an endless stream of replacement organs for people who keep smoking, abusing alcohol, and abusing recreational drugs while destroying their organs? Is that what we're going to start doing? So we're going to start rewarding the people that do all these things when their organs go bad. Interesting concept. Alright? Now, last but not least, women whose babies develop fatal defects in the early stages of pregnancy will be given advice on going ahead with the birth so the NHS can harvest their organs. Most expectant mothers opt for termination after being told the devastating news that their child has no chance of surviving once born. But now, amidst chronic shortages of donated organs, moms will be told to be supportive to have a baby at 9 months, so that the child vital organs can be taken for a transplant. All right, and this is actually happening and being thought of being practiced. This is pretty much Planned Parenthood. All right. It's Planned Parenthood all over again, just trying to reach even further into the fact that they're already using the embryos from abortions to sell the organs. This is a video I'm gonna let you guys see real quick.
I'll ask them, but and I'll also push Jennifer Russo to your table. She's their medical director at Orange County. I'll make sure she goes. You guys connect with her.
Planned Parenthood Senior Director of Medical Services recommended Planned Parenthood's Orange County affiliate as a premier partner to the harvest and sell aborted fetal body parts. Since 2008, Da Vinci Biologist for a profit fetal tissue company in Oregon County has been harvesting body parts as the local.
Do you source only from California, or do you have sites?
Oh yes, it's local.
$350 for fetal liver, $500 for fetal thymus. Look at the prices. A brain is $750. A fetus brain. But Planned Parenthood is destroying everything and taking advantage of women that are having abortions. All right. Now, with that said, family, we've reached the end of this presentation. I want to thank you so much for tuning in and tuning in or watching if it's at a later date. I appreciate you, and I hope that I have shined a light on the subject that should be addressed with critical thinking instead of blindly. All right. Now be sure to like, share, follow, subscribe to the Crumb Snatcher Network and all its platforms, as well as myself. All right. Links will be available in the description. And I now leave you as I arrived. In peace.